put up how many people are in your family. I had the kids go. So just put it in your household. How many people live in your household? Put your fingers up. All right. So, all right, thank you. Now, I want to say something. So there's 4 people living in your house, right? So does that mean that one person, you, are going to get to do what you want to all of the time? Is that how it works? Do you know that in life, more often than not, you don't really get to do exactly what you want because there's other people to consider. So the question is, what do you do when you don't get your way? Aha. You know what? Pouting. You know what pouting is? Pouting is, well, I didn't say anything. You know what? Well, but pouting is being angry. The Bible does not mention the word pouting. But does the Bible mention getting angry?
Yes.
So you know what? Maybe you don't pout. Maybe you just get angry and you just throw a temper tantrum. Or maybe you pout. I had 4 little nieces, and I want to tell you something. It was so stressful to be there. You do one thing wrong, and you didn't even know what you'd done. But the pouting was unbelievable. So I want to say this. And do you think that just kids pout? No. You can pout when you get older, too. So it's not something that you outgrow. It's something that you make a decision. I'm not going to do it anymore. So that's one of your responses. When you don't get your way, you can either throw a temper tantrum, get angry verbally, or punch the wall. Some people punch the walls, and it's just terrible. Or the other thing is, you can be silently upset. But you know what some people do? There's a change of plans, and they just, why? Why are we doing that? Or why can't we work it out? Why can't we do? They just protest. They argue continually, and they are really not interested in hearing the facts. They're only interested in making their point. And so, kids, I want to tell you something. Your parents can just get exhausted from hearing you argue. And the point is, you don't really want to know the reasons. You just want to talk them into getting your own way. And so I want to say this. When things happen that you don't go your way, you can choose either one of these responses. And let me tell you something. There's other responses you can choose too. But there's another response you can choose. And we're going to see some people in our story, it didn't go their way. They were doing exactly what they were supposed to be doing. They were actually doing good. They were actually following God. And I'm telling you, you just wait. You're going to see what happened. But you know what they did? They prayed. They talked to God. They said, Lord, and I'm sure they must have said this. We thought we were doing the right thing, and you know what? And just give us the strength to respond the right way. And let me tell you something. It's hard to respond the right way. You need to pray and say, Lord, make the words that come out of my mouth. And, of course, the words that come out of your mouth, where do they come from? Oh, yes. Right. So you need to say, okay, Lord, give me the right attitude in all of this. And so you can pray, and then, it's one thing to pray to the Lord. All right, Lord, I'm going to endure this. And not pouting, but I'm just going to get through this. But then there's really one step further that God wants us to do. Now, guys, I don't know if you've learned in English yet, but sometimes you take the Y on an end of the word and you add an I and then you add the ending. So that's the way you change it. Well, that's what this. Inside of this word rejoice, there's a little word that had a Y, and when they put the ending on, they changed it to I. What word is that? Joy. Yes. And so rejoice, it really comes from the word joy. Now, there's a difference between joy and happiness. Now, you are happy when all of the underlying circumstances are just, right. Oh, we're going to go to the play place, and you know what, your friends are going to come over, and I'm going to bake you a big cake, and oh, you just won an award. All these things. Yes, we're happy. But this joy is a little bit different. And that is, you have joy when what? Things aren't going your way. And so the point of it is, how can you, and joy expresses itself a little bit like happiness, but joy, how can you have joy when you're in a car accident? How can you have joy when somebody gets really sick? How can you have joy when you thought you were going to get that position on the team and somebody else got it? So how can you have joy in those situations? Now, if you look at this really closely, the answer is right here. God is in control. So the Bible says, in everything give thanks. Now, do I give thanks I'm in a car accident? What do I give thanks for? God is in control. Do I give thanks that I didn't make the team? And I want to say, in a situation like that, you really can thank the Lord, because he protects you from doing things many times that really would not be good for you, and you don't even know it at the time. But I want to say this. We rejoice because God is in control. And so when bad things happen, we were just having a Bible study the other day, and they always say, Plan A is that Adam didn't sin. Plan B, he sinned and Christ came. That's really not the truth, guys. Plan A is that God would give us a free will because he wanted to make us on a level that could love him. He didn't want robots. He's got creations that don't have choices. What are those creations? Animals. They don't have a choice. So you can know what something looks like that's alive that doesn't really have a choice between right and wrong. We don't have a choice who our parents are going to be. We don't have a choice about what we're going to look. We don't have a choice about a lot of things. But we have a choice on whether we're going to choose what is right or what is wrong. And so I want to say that, yes. So, but when something bad happens, God allows sin in the world. We have a verse even about that. And we know that for those who
love God,
all things
work together
for good to those who are
called according to his purpose.
Romans 8:28. So it says, all things work together for good. For who? Everybody? For those who love God. So, if something bad happens, and you determine it's bad, somebody gets sick, you don't get what you want, something, there's an accident, whatever, and then you get bitter and resentful, and you pout, and you get angry, are things going to work together for your good? No. There's a man I know, and actually I just saw him at church on Easter Sunday, but he only became because his wife wanted to. But when he was younger, he had a brother. And they went to church. The brother got sick. He prayed the brother would live. Guess what happened to the brother? Now, the brother believed in the Lord Jesus Christ. So when that brother died, where's he been since then? That's right, but you know what happened to him? He says, if God's just going to take my brother, I'm not going to follow him. And he turned away from God. So I want to say this. When things happen, you have a choice. There are some people, when something bad happens, well, if that's the kind of God, and he's not going to, save my mom, or he let me, this happen to me. You know what? I want to just tell you something. You have that choice. You can either believe the truth, and what is the truth?
God is in control.
Or you can get angry at God. But I want to say that if something happens to you that you think is bad, do you know what God is saying to you? He's saying, you know what? For all eternity, you're going to have rewards in heaven that you would never have. You're going to be able to enjoy them forever that you would never have if this had not occurred to you, if this had not happened. And if we in all eternity could look back, we'd say, oh, yes, Lord, please. Oh, yes, please. Yes, I want the rewards. I want to learn. If this is the only way I can do it, go ahead. But it's going to be too late because we'll be looking back. So what we have to believe is the truth. God is in control, and he's directing our steps. And, of course, who's our best person to use as an illustration for this? Dove in the water. 17. Johnny Erickson Tata. Let me tell you something. I have heard her speak, and you guys haven't. Of course, now you don't even have to go hear her speak. You can hear her speak on the radio. You can hear her speak on many things. God has done a work in her life that she said he would have never done. If this had not happened, would I choose it? No. But am I bitter or resentful? No. Am I actually thankful? Yes. Do I like it? No. She says it's still hard to wake up in the morning, and she wakes up in the morning, she says, okay, Lord, please, just give me a smile. So he gives her a smile, and she turns over to the person that's going to come in and help her. So she says, I have to ask every day the Lord would just give me a smile. Does it get easier being in a chair after all these years? No, it doesn't. And yet, God has worked a mighty thing in her life and blessed many people. And so the point of it is, we're going to see today that some very terrible things happen. And so, you have the choice. You guys have the choice. Are you going to complain? You're going to pout? You're going to get angry? You're going to get bitter? You're going to be resentful? Or are you going to what? Pray and rejoice. And say, Lord, you are in control. Thank you. Oh, you know what? I didn't bring my book up. It's somewhere. I think I left it in the car thinking I wouldn't need it. But I do need it. Thank you. No, we don't have cutouts today because it's so short. We're almost there. Oh, we made it. All right. So it says, rejoice. And that's even when bad things happen. Do we rejoice in the bad things? What does it say here we rejoice in? In the Lord. Why do we rejoice in the Lord? Because God is in control. That's why. So it says rejoice in the Lord. How often? Always. Always. And so what are we supposed to do? In who? How often? Always. And then you know what it does? It repeats it. Because, we're sitting here listening to this today. Oh, yeah, that sounds so wonderful. It is so hard to do. We all know it. But it's not our first response to things. And he says, and again, I need to tell you this again. This is not easy. You need to keep telling yourself over and over and over, this is what I need to do. Again, I will say, rejoice. And why do we rejoice? Because God is in control. And what is he going to do with that bad situation that just happened to you? Work it together for good if you do what? If you love God. And you don't get bitter and resentful and upset and angry. You do all that, that's not going to work. You might even get in more trouble. And so, you know what is so important. And in this world, somebody thinks, I'll accept the Lord and then everything's going to go perfectly. Is that what God said? He says, in this world you will have tribulation and trouble. You're going to have it. Not because there's something wrong with you. You're going to have it because there's other sinful people out here. But you don't have to be afraid of what anybody's going to do to you, because I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to allow one thing to get to you that will not be for your good for all eternity. So you don't have to live in fear. All right, let's come up and do this wonderful verse. Oh, let me give this to you so I can take it home. I've been known to do that. Oh, you have a new one?
I got a new one.
Oh, okay. So, rejoice, and then always. And then there's clapping. And that's basically all the motions you're going to do. So, it'll repeat. So, it'll say, rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice. And then it'll say, Rejoice, rejoice, and again I say rejoice. And then it doesn't repeat the fourth time, which we're used to in the song. Then it just says Philippians 4, verse 4.
All right, let's see if this new speaker works.
Rejoice in the Lord always, again I will say rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord always, again I will say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, again I will say rejoice. Philippians 4 verse 4. Rejoice in the Lord always, again I will say rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord always, again I will say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, again I will say rejoice. Philippians 4 verse 4. Rejoice in the Lord always, again I will say rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord always, again I will say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, again I will say rejoice. Philippians 4 verse 4.
All right. If you're like me and you grew up hearing this song, we have to do it in a round, okay? Please, we'll do it in a round. So this side, you start. Well, we won't do it with the music because it'll be too confusing. Rejoice in the Lord always, again I say rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord always, again I say rejoice. And then when you say rejoice, rejoice, you're going to come in with rejoice in the Lord always, again I say rejoice. So why don't you start?
Three without the last part?
Right here. Wait, we'll do it a couple of times and then we'll decide. Okay, you start this group and then I'll start this group. Okay?
Okay.
Go.
Rejoice in the Lord always, again I say rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord always, again I say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, again I say rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord always, again I say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, again I say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, again I say rejoice.
How's that? Is that nice?
Okay.
I like it.
Repeated it.
All right, that was good. All right.
Okay.
So shall we do the song, what we're going to do? Say speed rounds?
Oh, so you're
You want us to
timing
do
it?
speed
Okay.
rounds now?
I don't know if we could do it in 3 minutes, but
Rose is gonna. Rose, if you need help, she's an expert in this.
okay.
Ah.
You told you did it all in 3 minutes.
I don't know whether we did it actually in 3 minutes, but what I'm saying is don't use the music when you review. You just give them a couple of words and then you just start it singing, flip the page, singing, flip. So let's do that.
And
Speed round.
avoid the repeats.
Don't do any repeat. I mean, the kid does want to keep on saying, but just gotta move forward.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have your verse sheet in front? Or we're just gonna do
I'll do
like
this
this? Oh, so you want to
No,
do
no,
it?
you do it.
Oh, dear.
I'm already
Okay.
drawing a
So
blank
you're
on this. The sum of your word
Okay.
is true.
Right, so
And every one of your righteous rules endures forever.
but we were supposed to start with
Psalm 119.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So
So let's start from the beginning.
Okay, and the goal is everybody stay together. No chaos. Okay? Everybody stay together.
okay. Psalm 119, 160. The sum of your word is true, and every one of your righteous rules endures forever. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Romans 3:23. For I am sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. Philippians 1 verse 6. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you, not as the world gives, do I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. John 14:27. He who is in you is greater. He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. Wait on the Lord. Chapter 3, verse 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. Okay, Matthew 22:37. And he said to him, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior who is Christ the Lord. Luke 2:11. Call upon me in the day of trouble, and I will deliver you, and you shall glorify me. Psalm 50, verse 15. Be clothed with humility, for God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. 1 Peter 5, verse 5. And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28. Okay, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. Philippians 4:6. John 14:6. Jesus said to him, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. What manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? Matthew 8, verse 27. Let little children come to me, and do not forbid them, for such is the kingdom of God. Mark 10:14. Rejoice evermore, pray without ceasing, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you. 1 Thessalonians 5:16, 17, 18. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear him, hear him, hear him. Acts 75. Okay, the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, he shall live, and whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. John 11:25 and 26. Romans 1:16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes. That takes time. Amen. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice. Again I say rejoice. Philippians 4:4. Good luck. Okay.
How long did it
Here.
Guys, I want to say something. Everybody does it a little bit different. These wonderful girls, Deanna, can I have your book, please?
Certainly.
You guys did it fabulously. However, when we do it in my class, we do it a lot faster. Now, the other thing that I do is when we get down here on Romans 3:23, I tell them, now when I flip this page, you guys can read ahead, you know the verse, look down here, because what you want to do is turn it before it's done. Because if you don't turn it before it's done, then they're not ready to sing the next one. And and then I do it really a lot quicker. And I am sure, and they can sing it with me. Just sing it really fast, a little bit faster. And I am sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. Philippians 1:6. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give. And so, we go right into the next one, and we speed it up a little bit. We used to time ourselves. And so we could go through, there's 20, yeah. What was that, Vivian?
Nothing.
So all I'm trying to say, guys, is that, Because otherwise it takes a long time. Yes, Rosa,
But to
please.
save time, I think we should also go from the back to the front. Because they already know all the first few. So you don't really need to repeat all those, but going from the most recent one back.
Yeah,
That way.
that is a really good point. Because those are the ones you really want to get to, are the ending ones. And then if we're singing one in there, I can just tell there's a lot of mumbling going out there. What do? I sing it again. Okay, guys, this time every word. All right, and then we do and we try to do that. And guys, I want to say this. It's a little bit difficult to get them to do all the verses. I have a Sunday school class. They love it. They sing just to the top of their lungs. But my Good News Club's a little bit different. And then I also say, listen, guys, I want to see every mouth moving. Because I have some boys out there, and I don't see their mouths moving. And I said, you're going to forget my stories. But this is a gift that I'm giving you that you don't even know about, to know these verses. And if you think you're going to know them and not review them, you're not. You have to review them. This is part of the learning process. And I'm not interested if you can say it at the end of the class. I'm only interested if you know this the rest of your life. So anyway, I'm just saying that I have to give them pep talks, but I also feel like it's important to tell them why we go over it. And so let's just say that it's been a challenge. Have you guys found it a challenge or not? Yeah, a little bit of a challenge. So that's why we got to speed it up. And you can only speed it up. And speed it up a little bit more. Did you speed yours up a little bit more in your class, or do you remember?
Yeah.
Quite a bit more?
Turn pages ahead of it.
Yeah, and then
instead
you have to
of
turn the page
waiting
ahead of
until
it.
finish.
Yeah. So you go right into the next word. I mean, once you say, you go right into the next one. All right. Yes.